Hello, friends, and welcome back to episode 13 of Global Flyer. Have you ever gazed up at a massive jumbo jet soaring through the sky and just wondered, how on earth does that giant metal bird stay up there? It seems to defy gravity, right? Well, today we're going to demystify the magic of flight. By the end of this video, you'll understand the fundamental principles that allow these incredible machines to conquer the skies. So buckle up, because we're about to take off on a journey into the science of aviation. It all boils down to four fundamental forces: lift, weight, thrust, and drag. Imagine a tug-of-war in the sky. Weight is the force of gravity pulling the aircraft down. To fly, we need an upward force to counteract it, and that force is lift. Then you have thrust, the forward force generated by the engines pushing the plane through the air. And fighting against thrust is drag, the resistance of the air pushing back on the plane. For an aircraft to climb, lift must be greater than weight. To accelerate, thrust must be greater than drag, and to cruise at a constant speed and altitude, these forces must be in perfect balance. Lift equals weight, and thrust equals drag. It's this beautiful, dynamic balance that makes flight possible. So the big question is, where does that all-important lift come from? Let's dive into the heart of the matter, the wings. The secret to lift lies in the unique shape of an aircraft's wing, known as an airfoil. If you look at a wing from the side, you'll notice it's curved on top and flatter on the bottom. This specific shape is the key. As the plane moves forward, air splits to flow over and under the wing. Because the top surface is curved, the air traveling over it has a longer path to cover than the air traveling underneath. To meet up at the back of the wing at the same time, the air on top must speed up. Now, this is where a cool piece of physics called Bernoulli's principle comes into play. Bernoulli discovered that as the speed of a fluid in this case air increases, its pressure decreases. So we have fast-moving, low-pressure air above the wing and slower-moving, higher-pressure air below the wing. This pressure difference creates a net upward force, pushing the wing in the entire aircraft upwards. That, my friends, is lift. It's not magic, it's physics. But that's not the whole story. There's another equally important way to think about how wings generate lift. And it has to do with Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This concept introduces us to something called downwash. As the airfoil cuts through the air, its shape and angle are designed to deflect the oncoming air downwards. Think of it like sticking your hand out of a moving car window. If you angle your hand up, the air pushes your hand up. The wing does the same thing on a much larger scale. It's constantly pushing a massive amount of air down behind it. This downward push is the action. According to Newton's third law, the equal and opposite reaction is an upward push on the wing. This upward push is a significant component of the total lift. So you can think of lift as a combination of the pressure difference from Bernoulli's principle and the reaction force from pushing air down. Both explanations are correct and work together to get these amazing machines airborne. So we know wings make lift, but how much lift can they actually generate? The amount of lift a wing can produce isn't fixed. It depends on several key factors. First, the speed of the aircraft. The faster the plane moves through the air, the more lift is generated. This is why planes need a long runway to build up enough speed for takeoff. Second is the density of the air. Denser air, which you typically find at lower altitudes and in colder temperatures, provides more lift because there are more air molecules for the wing to push against. This is why on a hot day or at a high-altitude airport, a plane might need a longer takeoff roll. The third factor is the surface area of the wing. A larger wing has more area to create a pressure difference and to push air down, so it generates more lift. This is why you see massive wings on huge cargo planes. And finally, there's the angle of attack. This is the angle between the wing and the oncoming air. As a pilot increases the angle of attack, lift increases, but only up to a certain point. If the angle becomes too steep, the smooth airflow over the top of the wing breaks away. Lift is drastically reduced and the aircraft can enter a stall. Pilots are expertly trained to manage all these factors to ensure a safe and smooth flight from takeoff to landing. Now, let us talk about something you couldn't see but is a fascinating and crucial byproduct of lift wing vortices. Remember how we have high-pressure air under the wing and low-pressure air above it? Air, like any fluid, naturally wants to move from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure. At the wingtip, the high-pressure air from underneath tries to curl up and around to the low-pressure area on top. As the plane moves forward, this curling motion creates powerful, swirling tubes of air that trail behind each wingtip. These are called wingtip vortices. You can sometimes see them on a damp day as white trails of condensation coming off the tips of a plane's wings during landing. While they look cool, these vortices are essentially powerful horizontal tornadoes. They represent a loss of energy and create a type of drag called induced drag. More importantly, they can be hazardous for any aircraft flying behind. The wake turbulence from a large jet can be strong enough to flip a smaller plane. This is why air traffic control maintains strict separation distances between aircraft, especially during takeoff and landing. To reduce these energy-wasting and potentially dangerous vortices, engineers came up with a clever solution you've probably seen on most modern jets: winglets. Those are the vertical extensions you see at the tips of the wings. Winglets work by disrupting the airflow that tries to curl around the wingtip. By acting as a barrier, they reduce the size and strength of the wingtip vortices. This has two major benefits. First, it reduces induced drag, making the wing more efficient. A more efficient wing means the engines don't have to work as hard, which in turn saves a significant amount of fuel. We're talking fuel savings of up to 5% or more, which over the life of an airline fleet adds up to millions of dollars and a huge reduction in carbon emissions. Second, by weakening the wake turbulence, they can help improve airport capacity, as planes can sometimes be spaced slightly closer together. So the next time you're on a plane, take a look out the window at those winglets and know they not just for looks. They are a brilliant piece of engineering, making flight safer and more efficient for everyone. So, let's recap our flight plan for today. We started with the 4 fundamental forces: lift, weight, thrust, and drag, and the delicate balance required for flight. We then zoomed in on the airfoil, the specially shaped wing that uses Bernoulli's principle to create a pressure difference, and Newton's third law to generate lift by pushing air down, a phenomenon we call downwash. We learned that the amount of lift depends on speed, air density, wing area, and the angle of attack. And finally, we uncovered the invisible world of wingtip vortices, the swirling byproduct of lift, and how clever devices like winglets help to mitigate them, making aviation more efficient and sustainable. It's an incredible symphony of physics and engineering that happens every single second on thousands of flights around the globe. The next time you fly, you'll have a brand new appreciation for the science that is literally lifting you up into the clouds. And that brings us to the end of our journey for today. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the aerodynamics of flight. The world of aviation is filled with so many fascinating topics, and we're just scratching the surface. What should we explore next? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video interesting and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next episode of Global Flyer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Fly safe.